Yeah, I want to ask the question: is Putin gay? And I never thought of it this way, but there's like now that I start putting two and two together with some of the stuff on this guy. This guy is Mr. Macho Pose to the max, and for somebody being in his power and position, I'm surprised he isn't surrounded by young ladies all the time, because I sure as hell would be. I'd be like, line him up, man. Anyway, here he is doing his, typical I am the leader of Russia pose. And you guys that are actually in fans of Vladimir Putin, don't get pissed off at this right away, because I'm actually going to bring out some stuff on some other people that play like they're all religious and they're this and that. And my view on this stuff with the gay thing or whatever you want to call it is that the government should have no like policy for or against or whatever. It just ought to be neutral on anything and just worry about individual rights. I disagree with the Hollywood thing where they're like pushing gayness on everybody practically, or nothing should be pushed on anybody. And like on Vladimir Putin's side, it's almost like he's got loads of advocates that just want to like kill him or something, which is extreme the other way to the max. So it's like, but here he is doing his macho pose, and here's another macho pose thing. But it's like, this is one thing. I say, okay, maybe he's into horseback riding, he likes shooting rifles and all this type of stuff. Then there's another pose here, and it's like, I am the great leader. I'm walking across the stream with my knife in my, hip here and stuff. And it's this guy is photo op to the max, man. It's a carefully crafted image, and but it's almost like, if I was in his position, I wouldn't be playing this damn image, man, at all. But it's like, here he is, another damn image, and it's again, now here's another thing. This is something that actually got to me, because here he's riding a Harley Davidson three-wheel motorcycle. I know he doesn't ride, so he's riding a three-wheel, which is fine. But, I personally can't stand a Harley this, Harley that garbage. I got into motorcycles because I got into it from bicycles, and I got into bicycles from running. Like, I'm a nut on cardio. And I was doing all this running, and I got into bicycles, and I said, wow, that's cool. I can expand my distance. And I got into motorcycles from bicycles. Like, I don't have any tattoos. I don't have any Harley this, Harley that. But here, this guy, he's got to play this macho thing, and he got the Night Wolf's leader in Russia with the motorcycle, and they're totally political to the max, which is like the exact opposite of what motorcycles should be about. Running, bicycle freedoms, and whatever. Freedom, baby. None of this. The hell with the leader. Worshipping a leader is the opposite of true freedom. Now here you got him with, I don't know what the hell this is, some kind of souped up gun, but it's another one of these big poses. And if I was in his position, I wouldn't be presenting this kind of freaking. I'd be putting more of a laid back leadership position than this kind of garbage. He's got to always present like he's a big macho man. And he'll also he cried at his re-election, and then sometimes he cries when he sees the national anthem go off on the Russia whatever. And I'm thinking it's a big act. It's almost like you think a male can't play this game just as much as a female? I think so. Like, in other words, like people, women will cry because she gets awarded with the beauty pageant or something of Russia, and she's like, I don't know, maybe she is crying, I don't know. But sometimes it's a big act, and I think, just because he's a male, don't think he can't play the same kind of game on the people that he's a leader of, supposedly. Now, here he's kissing the Chinese leader, but that don't mean nothing. I guess that's one of those, I don't know what the hell that is. But anyway, it's just a, it's not a picture to prove he's gay, but I think this is what I'm seeing with Putin. He's got to, this is what, the Village People or something? He's got to play every macho role. It's almost like, what does that remind you of? Doesn't that remind you of the Village People? Isn't that Vladimir Putin to the max? I'm your number one cop. I'm your number one leather guy, whatever. I'm a Westerner. I'm an Indian. I don't know what the hell. That's exactly like Vladimir Putin to the max. So and the fact that he's so freaking against gays, that's another thing that makes me think, I don't know about this dude, man. He's something freaking weird with this guy. And I'm going to tell you, this is something, like, I'm going to tell you this. From what I've known from inside circles in the military that told me stuff about what went on with presidents and, people that used to be, they had family that was Secret Service and stuff, and there's a lot of freaky stuff that goes on in the political world in the West. And I'll guarantee, I don't see why why wouldn't it be over in Russia? Because there's all freaky stuff going on there. But, it doesn't happen really in the rank and file. It happens at the top. The top people in the military and I don't even want to say. I'll say, I think, what the hell is that guy's name? He was a 4-star general, and he changed all this stuff. He supposedly was a gay general in the military when he had an anti-gay policy going on. And I'm thinking, how was he a gay general? Unless the people on the top in the military, it's loaded all over the place. But why wouldn't that not be applicable to Putin? Now, this is not Putin here I'm showing. This is Marcus Bachmann, the husband of Michelle Bachmann. And here's another example of a guy that's like totally anti-gay, and he seems like he's very, very gay himself because, just the whole. I mean, I saw some clips. You go look at some clips on YouTube with Marcus Bachmann dancing, and you think, but he's got a clinic that the hell is it? He converts gays into straights or something like that, and he's got some online degree in psychology, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think, but if the Christian community figured out that this guy's probably, I think this guy's gay here, probably. He's just, if you look at some clips in YouTube, you could see. But I'm thinking that Vladimir Putin is, because he reminds me of this. Macho man. I gotta be macho man, and constantly pose and all this BS. So now I'm gonna tell you, I think there's two presidents I could tell you in the United States. Jimmy Carter was probably the straightest arrow going for, like, squeaky clean, not doing anything wrong, and escapades, and I think. And actually, I tell you the truth now, I'm not voting for Democrat or Republican ever again. I'm like sick of these yo-yos, but I definitely used to vote all the time Republican. I didn't vote for Jimmy Carter or nothing. But actually, so I'm not doing this as a plug because I'm pro for Democrats or something. But Jimmy Carter was probably the most squeaky clean president going, as far as like morals and stuff. Now, as far as a person that's a player that's 100% probably heterosexual to the max, Bill Clinton. I heard stuff about George Herbert Walker Bush. I mean, I don't want to get into this kind of garbage because it gets too controversial and political, but I'm thinking, Vladimir Putin, man, you're like one of them village people to the max. But Bill Clinton, I think, is 100% heterosexual. But, I'm going to tell you one thing. I like this guy. I didn't vote for both times. I know all the stuff that went on with Whitewater, man, Arkansas, all that garbage. I know all the scandals. But I'm going to tell you this. This guy I like for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. But he's got, if he did not have to answer to people that controlled him, and he could just be plain old Bill, good old boy Bill, he'd be a very populist president. And it's like unfortunate we got the powers that be control whoever's in the office, but this guy I kind of like. Now I'm going to tell you something else out there, because this guy, from what I heard about Bill Clinton, he's a major player to the max, and he never liked the condoms supposedly, and I'm thinking, dude, either this guy's got AIDS, HIV, or they got a cure for that shit, and I'm thinking, I bet you they got a cure for that shit, And because if anybody would have got this crap, it would have been Bill, definitely, because he don't even like wearing the protection or nothing. From what these are all the rumor mongers out there, but this guy is number one player to the max, and heterosexual president. But I think most of the presidents out there, they talked about Obama, but I don't know. I tell you, from what I've been told about certain things, and I think a lot of them they were just freaks. Now, Bill Clinton's a freak, but he's 100%. I like women. That's what he thinks. And I don't know. I tell you the truth. I disagree with this guy's political policies, but I think a lot of his political policies were directed from above. And if we can actually knock out the powers that be, this guy would have been. He could have been. He could have been a really super great president, because I think he's an actual people type person that does give a shit about people. But when it comes down to it, he's got this insatiable drive for his own political power. That's his dark side. But his other side of him, he's a people guy. As far as some of the people in the Christian community, where they're putting on this thing where they're trying to convert gays, and they got this problem, and this guy is, to me, this Marcus Bachman. I don't believe it. I think this guy is man, go take a look at any video on YouTube with this guy with dancing or something. This guy is, I don't know. Anyway, but as far as Vladimir Putin, I'm thinking this guy reminds me of the Village People. And for somebody in his position, I don't know what the deal is, but I wouldn't be doing this shit. I wouldn't be presenting this image. I would present more like that image right there. And what the hell, right? Health, beauty, fun, sex, and have a good time. Like, this is a free nation of Russia. This guy, he's like all big ego and trying to. I don't know what the hell the deal is. Something fishy with that guy, man. Now I'm really thinking about it. And his biggest supporters, it's almost like the same deal with Obama. Well, I don't know. And to me, my thinking on this stuff with the gay stuff is like the government shouldn't freaking get involved in anything. They should just be neutral on everything. There shouldn't be anything where you go to public school, government school, and they tell you about this and they tell you about that. Just leave it out of school. You know what school is supposed to be about? Learning the language, learning mathematics, learning your history, learning your basic rights and your basic constitution and things like that. Some of your, important history, not the Marilyn Monroe Hollywood history. And that's it. I mean, you don't need to be doing all this social engineering garbage. And just leave that issue out completely. But, to tell you the truth, now that Obama's been in a while, I miss old Bill Clinton, man. I didn't even like him back then. But to tell you the truth, man, this guy would be one cool guy to be hanging around and have a good party with, man. I can tell you that right now. That's one thing I liked about old Bill, man. I don't know. I mean, I disagreed the hell with him politically, but I think he was just being shaped by the freaking powers that be, to tell you the truth. This guy, man, I could, I don't know. I guess after Obama's been in a while, I long for the days of the Clinton administration again. What the hell, man? You ought to run for a third term like Putin and get in there with some hot, And Hillary, man, I don't know what the deal is with that. That lady's, I guess I don't know. I wouldn't want to get involved in the middle of that deal. But, I can tell you right now, that's the kind of, we need a president that's a real populist president. And like I said, I was pretty much really against Bill Clinton, but now in retrospect, I'm looking at this deal and I'm saying to myself, God, compared to what's going on in the world today, I long for the days of Bill Clinton for president and, bring on the babes, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, over and out.